Hi, I'm Noelle, the host of Pop Punk and Pizza, and today I'm joined by Aidan Valentine, and we're gonna go over his record collection.
I'm going out, I gotta go. I'll bang a rang on the radio. So turn it up, I'm telling you. I think I'm ready for something new. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza.
I definitely feel like talking about this album now. Okay, American Idiot by Green Day is probably the first album I listened to in full and really enjoyed. I think it was one of the first albums, if not the first album I listened to, where I was like, I should play an instrument. My best friend at the time, Jaden, shout out Jaden, he loved this album. He had a American Idiot Green Day shirt that he would just wear like maybe once a week in middle school.
Yeah.
And then he just put me on this album and I would just listen to it probably once a day. Jesus of Suburbia is still like probably one of my top 10 favorite songs of all time.
Just a masterpiece.
Yeah, and
it's like a bunch of little songs in one.
Yeah, it's totally red.
Ooh, I like that color.
I think it's incredibly pretty. That's the reason I bought it, because it was red.
Yeah,
and I probably got this like 2 or 3 years ago. And I wish I would have waited because they just did like a 20th anniversary pressing of it. And it's so cool. It's so cool. On that is basically the small songs that eventually made up Jesus of Suburbia. Mm-hmm. And they have an alternate version of Jesus of Suburbia, I believe, and an alternate version of Homecoming. And they have like different names.
Oh.
It's like...
So it's kind of like demos? Or
yeah, it's demos.
Versions?
It's demos, but it's pretty close to the final version, besides like there's like 1 or 2 sections that are completely different.
Okay.
People often talk about how this is the best Green Day album, but I feel like I've almost listened to it so much.
You kind of like overplayed it?
Yeah, so when I listen to Insomniac by Green Day, I think that might be the best album just because it's not American Idiot or Dookie. And in that aspect, I kind of feel like it's better.
That is cool.
But I'm definitely glad I own this. And it sounds pretty good, even though it's a little warped. So I think all of the ones that are the 25th anniversary Fueled by Ramen pressings are all silver. I don't know. It kind of looks like a countertop to me, but it's like a nice bathroom countertop, you know? I'm not gonna complain. This is very typical theater kid music. And I'm not a theater kid, to be clear, but I absolutely love this album. It's probably one of the first albums I listened to and then decided to buy physically on CD. But I just like kind of the Baroque kind of sound to it. Mm-hmm. Just kind of sounds like
it's a very specific vibe.
Yeah, it's like, you know, and when they went on tour for this album, they had like the whole choreography and everything.
Yeah.
And they just got into character.
And all the costumes and everything.
I also just like how most of the songs just kind of, they're coherent and they all kind of just like fade into each other. Yeah. Especially like, But It's Better If You Do.
Yeah, that one transition.
Yeah, I Rate Sins, Not Tragedies.
Yeah.
But I think this is the best Panic at the Disco album of all time.
I agree. Mine used to be Death of a Bachelor when I first started listening to them, but then, I don't know, like I listened to this all the way through later on, and now this one's my favorite.
That's surreal. I guess, okay, songs that I don't like off of Death of a Bachelor. There's some that are a little looking, like when I listen to them now, I'm like, this is a little cringe, like Crazy Equals Genius. I'm like...
Yeah, I used to really like that one, but I can see what you mean.
I mean, I like it, but like it's something if you put it on with like your friends and like if I was with a group of friends that didn't listen to like alternative music and I put it on, they'd be like,
yeah, they'd be like, what is this?
What is this?
But that's how it is with like most alternative music.
Most Panic at the Disco.
Yeah.
Especially Panic at the Disco. Especially this album, because there's a lot of piano in it. Mm-hmm. And when there's no like pop punk guitars, it just sounds like you're listening to a musical. Yeah. Like in a good way.
Isn't there like violin in it too?
Yeah, there's strings and everything. Yeah, it's super creative. There's synths in it too.
Yeah.
Like literally in
it's very different. Like, it kind of really makes you wonder why people called Panic at the Disco emo in the first place, because this is just like not an emo album.
It's pop punk for sure. It's just
if anything.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's a fun
one. Like, it's
one.
very unique.
It is, and I think it. There's a lot of people that try to do the same thing now. and they just don't do it as well.
Yeah.
No matter how close they get to actually making something like Panic at the Disco, it's just not like this album.
You can't beat the original.
No.
Yeah, Vessel's good.
Yeah, Vessel's good. Okay, Vessel by 21 Pilots. Probably like in my top 3 albums of all time, which you'll never get that information out of me otherwise. Like,
Yeah.
I know you like 21 Pilots, so like I can say that it's a safe
Yeah.
space, but some people
It's a
are like,
safe
21
space
Pilots,
here.
it's like the cringiest shit ever. I'm like, dude, no, you gotta listen to this album.
Yeah.
You gotta listen to it.
They probably only heard like Stressed Out, which is a good song. It's just really overplayed. But...
That's true, that's true. I think the weakest song on, what do you think the weakest song on this album is?
Wait, let me see the songs. Okay, so Ode to Sleep is my favorite on here. This is hard. But House of Gold, I don't really, I mean, I like it, but it's kind of more like a folksy song, you know? It's like on the ukulele, so I don't listen to it that much. Oh, I don't like the Run and Go, but it's kind of mostly because in my high school gym class, the gym teacher would play that sometimes
The Run and
on her
Go?
playlist. Yeah, so it just reminds me of high school gym.
My high school gym consisted of like Imagine Dragons, that's it.
Yeah.
Like I'd hear Believer every morning when I had gym and I actually showed up. And then I would lose my mind. Or like Thunder by Imagine Dragons, that song just reminds me of high school gym class. But Run and Go, that's a big step up. 21 Pilots in gym, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was nice hearing it at the time, but you know,
It's the first song I learned how to, the Run and Go is the first song I learned how to play on piano.
I'm trying to think of which song, like I try to learn it on keyboard. Oh, I think it was Screen. Yeah, it was Screen.
Ah, that makes sense,
I
yeah.
try to learn like the intro part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. House of Gold's my least favorite song on Vessel by
Yeah.
far. It just, to me,
That's
it sounds like
probably
a
that
filler song. Like it just seems like
Yeah.
a song that they threw in there because they could. And then when I think of
I
like,
mean, Tyler wrote it for his mom.
yeah,
I
but
think.
come on, like who even needs a song about their mom? No, on
terrible.
a real note though, the B-sides on this album that they re-recorded off of Regional at Best, I think are better. They re-recorded Kitchen Sink, Forest, and Lovely. And
Yeah.
I wish that House of Gold had literally any of those 3 songs instead of, you know, House of Gold being
Yeah.
on it.
I agree.
Also, now when I listen to car radio, I can't stand it because it's car radio, and I've heard it
a
so
lot.
much.
Yeah.
And that's
But
like the
it's
song.
really cool in concert though.
That is true. That is true.
It's very epic. Did you see, like you went to their most recent one,
Yeah,
right?
where he disappears and then
Yeah.
like he has his like
That
he
was
has his
so
body
cool.
double on stage, and then then
Is that how he does
yeah.
it?
Yeah, totally.
I don't know.
It's like a
I
different
was thinking
dude.
maybe he has like a tunnel.
he runs. He's on stage, but I'm pretty sure the dude on stage is lip syncing for a lot of the
Yeah.
beginning to like a live recorded take of Tyler, and then Tyler literally goes through the tunnel.
Yeah.
Or
That
like
was so
around the
cool,
stadium
though.
and then goes like
I
up
was like,
stage.
what? How do you get there?
No, he actually can teleport. That's true, by the way. So
Yeah,
big
he can.
news. My favorite song on this album by far is "Guns for Hands." I just think it's the best song written for the album because like "Ode to Sleep," I think "Holding On to You," "Car Radio," and obviously "Trees" were all on Regional at Best, before they re-recorded it for Vessel, and Guns for Hands is just a really solid song, so replacing something off Original at Best for it makes a lot of sense to me. I always thought it was weird that like, you know, like these are their grandparents,
Yeah.
and then like on the back they're just like looking all skeleton and emo
Yeah.
while their like
Oh
grandparents
yeah,
are just,
speaking of which, I was wearing my skeleton hoodie today.
they're just like standing there. Imagine like how awkward that photo shoot was. Like if I was like 70 years old and my grandsons
I'd be
were
like,
doing this,
what
I'd be
am I
like,
doing?
like, okay, yeah, you make music, but like, what does this have to do with it? Like, or like even the album cover, like, they're just hanging out, you know? I think they're both dead now. I think they're both dead. So Brothers by Black Keys is an album I found out about because I listened to a lot of the White Stripes.
Okay.
And through listening to the White Stripes, you kind of just, you'll
it's
stumble
kind of like if you listen to one, you listen to the other.
So Dan from the Black Keys had like very long-lasting beef, in quotes,
Yeah.
with Jack White. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
that, but Jack White would always claim that the Black Keys copied his sound and just copied his entire thing, especially being like a two-piece band.
Yeah.
Making like blues-esque music, and then like White Stripes, Black Keys, you know? So there was a little bit of tension there. I think this is probably their best album. It's the album I've listened to the most by them, but I don't really listen to a lot of like bluesy-esque music as much anymore. I used to be really into like garage rock. Like Beck is probably still one of my favorite artists. And their most recent album, the most recent Black Keys album, Beck is like co-wrote the entire thing with the Black Keys.
I didn't know that.
And so you can kind of hear like the influence that Beck had on their music, and Jack White too. Even if they, you know, they're like, no, we're doing our own thing. Like, there's influence from the White Stripes in here for sure.
But they do have their own sound, though. You know, it's not completely the same.
Do you have anything you want to say?
The Black Keys were my favorite band at one point, and I still really like them. They're still one of my favorite bands. And I saw them at the United Center once, and they were really good then. Yeah, just all their albums are really good. Like, I really like that garage rock sound, like we were talking about.
Talk about Diary by Sunny Day Real Estate. So, Diary by Sunny Day Real Estate definitely reminds me of how I play drums, just in terms of the parts that are written and just how they're played. I feel like, in terms of drumming inspiration, this is a very big album. It's also probably one of my favorite albums from the 90s, just because it inspires so much of what I listen to. This was a big inspiration for My Chemical Romance, you know? And I just think every song on here is good. It's a little bit more mellow than...
yeah, it's definitely an emo album.
Yeah, emo, but not like pop-punk-esque emo.
Not like commercial emo.
Right.
More like actual emo.
Yeah, and I think it's cool because it has a lot of clean guitar, and then you just have some guy kind of like complaining over it, like whining over it, and then it's like, yeah, that's emo.
That's about it.
In Circles is a classic. I think a lot of early 2000s bands cite that song and this album as one of their biggest influences, especially the early 2000s, like My Chem, Jimmy Eat World, Fall Out Boy, stuff like that. It just is directly influenced by this.
I honestly haven't listened to this one that much.
That's fair. It's
I probably listen to like one song off here.
I like the artwork though. It's so goofy.
It kind of reminds me of like little Lego people.
Yeah, I can see that. It's definitely unique, and it pioneered a genre. Originally, the entirety of Sunny Day Real Estate, mainly the drummer, was in Foo Fighters, and then he got kicked out by Dave Grohl because apparently Dave Grohl didn't think he was a good enough drummer.
Oh.
So, good album to compare my drumming to, right? I genuinely just think that Dave Grohl had a specific vision in mind, and I think his name's William Goldstein. Didn't exactly fit that. He doesn't sound like a drummer. He doesn't sound like Dave Grohl or Taylor from Foo Fighters, but it's definitely a very specific drum sound. And when I hear it, I'm like, that's Sunny Day Real Estate, which I think is really cool.
Cool.
But, yeah, one of my favorite albums for sure. Look at that. I'll take it out of the plastic.
Oh, you have like a little, what is that?
So, this is a, what do they call these things?
Single?
It's a single, but it's a flexi,
yeah.
What do they call it? It's like a something disc.
I know what you're talking about.
Let's see if it says it on here.
Flexi disc?
It's like a flexi disc, yeah. It literally, the only song that's on here is Vampires Will Never Hurt You. It's sweet. You know those links when it's like, your favorite artist dropped this through Spotify.
Yeah.
And you get like that in the email. This was one of the things that they released, and it's yeah, it's beautiful.
I imagine it doesn't play that well though, because it's
I will not
flexible.
be playing it, but you can see it. The reason I won't play it is because I bought it for $7, and now they go for probably a minimum of $300.
Oh, damn.
So it literally just says Vampires Will Never Hurt You on it.
Yeah.
And that's it. That is all that's on it.
Cool. That might be my favorite song on the album?
Mine is Demolition Lovers.
Yeah,
which,
I mean, the whole album is great all the way through. So, yeah, I think Vampires Will Never Hurt You is my favorite off here. And then I also really like Our Lady of Sorrows and Early Sunsets Over Monroeville. That one's like a lot different compared to the other songs on this album, I feel
agree.
like.
Well, I can see it's more clean in the beginning, you know?
It's kind of got like a different tempo and a different feel to it, you know, and the others are more like post-hardcore sounding. And that one's kind of like more mellow, at least until the end.
Right.
It like starts screaming, you know?
Yeah.
So,
No, I like this album a lot more than I like Danger Days, which is a hot take because a lot of people like Danger Days a lot more than this album. But
I can see where you're coming from though, because it's just really hard to choose between all their albums.
for sure, and I just think that in terms of uniqueness, this album is a lot more unique.
Yeah.
Danger Days is kind of like a Killers album, but sung by Gerard Way.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, just anything MCR does is a lot better than the Killers.
That's fair. I like their first album a lot, though. Both
I mean, I
bands.
haven't really listened to the Killers that much, so I feel like I can't really say, but
It's fair. I think you know, the Killers just have a lot of synth-inspired music, and Danger Days kind of incorporate a lot of that music about like 5 years after
I
the
can see what
Killers
you mean.
threw it in the mainstream, which is cool. It's very cool. I love this album though. It's probably my least listened to My
Really?
Chemical Romance album, but I do like it more than Danger Days.
I think it might be my most listened to, honestly.
Really?
It's like whenever I listen to one song on there, I just have to listen to the whole thing.
That's how I
But
feel about
that-
3 Cheers.
Yeah, it's the same with Revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Parade, I can listen to those out of context and completely fine. It's just this album. It's just. I think it's the best.
Top tier.
Yeah.
All their albums are top tier, honestly.
For sure. Unless you consider Conventional Weapons an album, then I would put that as the lowest.
Really?
There's a lot of misses on there, but
I mean, yeah, some of the songs on there I don't like as much, but there's a lot that I really do like, though.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Like Boy Division.
Boy Division's awesome.
Yeah.
Ambulance is awesome.
There's a lot of good ones on there.
For I like Light Behind Your Eyes and
That one I don't like as much.
Really? The World Is Ugly? That one's cool too.
Yeah, those are like
Those ones are
my favorite ones.
the least My Chem sounding, I think. They're just kind of like romantic
Yeah.
rock songs. But Boy Division is definitely a highlight. And Make Room, which they kind of reworked into Na 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 Na.
Yeah.
But
That one's like I like the more energetic songs.
yeah, me too.
Just in general. So
Yeah.
that's why I like those
I see
better.
why they scrapped that album though, or whatever. It was what Danger Days was gonna be. They recorded it before Danger Days, and then they released it after Danger Days, just as extra music to be out.
Yeah.
But
They wanted Danger Days to be a lot different than their other stuff.
yeah, it's definitely a lot different.
Yeah. This has been Pop Punk and Pizza with Aidan Valentine and his record collection, and I hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next video. Bye.
Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza.
Okay, now I'm thinking about it. Okay, I think. No, I know what you mean. Plus, there's editing.
Yeah.
We talk about a fever you can't sweat out, man. Do you want me to just start talking about it?